In this video, we want to give you a quick tour of the Golf Stat Lab system. So we'll start here on the dashboard. And the dashboard is the place that a player is going to see when they first log into the system. And on the dashboard, we've got a 30,000 foot view of their performance and some important statistics to kind of point them in the right direction and to see how it is that they're doing. Now, a good place to start here is at the top with the Performance DNA. Now, what the Performance DNA does is it shows the player how many strokes they're gaining and where they're gaining them at by shot type. Now, this is compared to a PGA benchmark that we use. So here on our scoring average, we can see that we're 5.7 up, so we want to bring that down a little bit. The scale here is going to be the same as it is for your score to par, right? You want a lower score, so you want negative numbers, not positive numbers. Lower numbers are better. So here we can see putting, doing okay. We're at a negative 0.5, so we're below the benchmark. We're happy about that. But over here on approach, we're at a positive 3.9. So this tells me that what I should be focusing on is my approach shots. Now, what part of the approach shots do I need to work on? I can find that out more in the reports and analysis section. But here it gives me a good idea of where I should start paying attention. There's also some other information under there, some other statistics that players are going to find important. There's your scoring average to par, and there's some charts. Anytime you roll over a chart, it's going to give you a little bit more information on each of the data points. Now, where you've got these kind of charts here, like our scoring average, where we've got rounds plotted over time, there's going to be some other information on there as well. Like here, our green line, that's an average for the last 5 rounds that we have on our scoring average. Down here, the blue line, that's the benchmark that we're trying to shoot for. And this orange line back here in the back, that's a trend line to show us which direction it is that we're going. So here, we're moving in the right direction. We're going towards this little blue section, so we're happy about that. So as we progress down, we've got green and regulation averages, driving accuracy, some approach accuracy, what we're hitting, what we're missing. Looks like I'm only hitting about a little under 50% of the time, so I should work on that. And then we've got putts gained per round, some scrambling percentage, other pieces of information like that. So this is a good place to start, kind of get an overview of the game and to see maybe what other statistics you should be checking out. We can also change it. So here we've got the last round. I'm now looking at the same statistics, but just for my last round. And then I have last 5 rounds, and it says all 5 rounds here because in this account, this demo account, there's only 5 rounds entered. So as you increase the number of rounds that you have in the system, you'll end up with more buttons over here like last 10, last 20, and so on. And then, of course, always an all button that tells you how many rounds that you have in the system in total. So speaking of rounds, let's go take a look at that section. Under the rounds section, that's where you input rounds and the shot data. So adding a round is obviously how you add a round, and then viewing a round will let you go back and take a look at the round that you've already entered and edit it if you need to. So this is the scorecard view. Now, after you add a round and put in the basic details, which are the same as you can find under edit round, like the country, the state, the golf course, the other details about that particular round, when that's been entered, it brings you here to the scorecard view. And the scorecard view is going to allow you to enter your shots. Now, by clicking on any one of these hole numbers, it's going to expand down, and it's going to show you the shot data for that particular hole. So you can just go through here, fill out all of the information, go to the next one, and just continue through until you've got it all done. Some of the statistics are going to show up here, and your score and score to par, some of the other things that you want to look at a glance, kind of see which direction you might be missing in or whether you're getting your green and regulations or not. And you can always come back and edit this, and coaches can see it too. So also up here at the top, we've got from our reports and analysis section some of the summary information that's going to be specific to just this hole. So if we go to the putting summary, we're going to see the same information that we would get from the reports and analysis section, but it's going to be specific only to this round that's been entered, so you can see just how you did here. So in the reports and analysis section, there's 2 basic ways to change what it is that you're looking at. You've got what kind of data it is that you want to see. So we've got summary here, which has just some general summary information like your score average, score to par, things like that. And then for each of the different parts of your game, your putt, scrambling, driving, green and regulation statistics, kind of an overall look at what's going on in here and what kind of performance the player is having. There's also driving, approach, putting, scrambling, and scores that will give you different information if you want to drill down a little bit further and try to find out what needs to be worked on. Also, anywhere in here that you find one of these little graph icons, if you click it, a graph will show up. And there's different graphs throughout depending on what kind of data it is that you're looking at. Some of them plot across this way, and if we come over here to scores and click one, then we're going to see bar charts that just kind of visualizes the data, makes it a little bit easier to look at and compare. The second part is going to be the filters. Now the filters is going to reduce the rounds that are included in all of these different reports that you're looking at. So you can filter by player. If you're an individual, this will be the only option will be yourself. But if you're a coach, the people who are sharing data with you are going to show up here so you can actually compare two different players. You can select individual rounds. You can select groups of rounds like the last 20 or the 10 median rounds, 10 best rounds that you've played. And you can look at the statistics and compare them. There's date ranges in here if you just want to look at specific groups and see how you did compared to two different date ranges. And we've got another video that'll go a little bit more into depth on the filters if you want to take a look at that. You can also click the side by side, and now you can compare two different sets of filtered data. So maybe over here I want to look at my 10 best rounds, and over here I want to look at my 10 worst rounds and just compare and see what's different between them. It will highlight if you're on the same report, so here we're on scores and here we're on scores, it'll highlight what's different between the left side and the right side so that you can see what to pay attention to. And if it's orange, that means that this number is higher than it is on the left, and if it's blue, that means this number is lower than it is on the left. Doesn't necessarily mean that's a good or bad thing, because some statistics are better if they're higher and some are better if they're lower. So it just points out where you should take a look at. Next section is the profile, and in profile you're going to find the things that you would imagine to be in the profile, like your profile information, the player's information, login information, address information, billing history, stuff like that. But also in the profile is how you share and manage the data that's being shared. So there's the shared list, and these are the people that I'm sharing information with. So here you can see that Cameron can see all of the information that I put in the system. There's the linked players, which is kind of the opposite of that. These are people who are sharing information with me. And then finally there's the email list, and that's just going to show you who it is that gets emailed when I enter a round. So if there's somebody who's not in the Golf Stat Lab system, but I still want to let them know whenever I enter a new round, I can add them to my email list, and when I add a round, it shoots off an email, lets them know that there's a new round that I've entered, and they can come take a look at it. Finally, there's the files section, which right now only has one file in it, and that is the blank stat sheet, which might be helpful if you want to print it out and take it with you. It's a little bit easier to carry it around the course than a laptop might be. When you're logged into Golf Stat Lab, up at the top there's a link that's labeled Getting Started, and it's going to go over a lot of the information that I talked about here. So it'll talk about the different sections of the site, a little bit about round entry, golf courses, tee locations, a little bit about sharing data, reports and analysis, that kind of stuff. So hopefully this video helps. There's also the Get It Starting section inside of the website, and as always, feel free if you have any questions or comments to go ahead and contact us, and you can find our information on the website under the Contact Us link, which is located at the bottom of the page. So with that, I hope you enjoy the system. If you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, happy golfing.